Look, basically, I know that this video is ridiculously long. It's like 23 minutes or something. I just wanted to make sure that I got what my channel was all about in one video, so I didn't have to do it a lot. I'd really appreciate it if you watch the full thing. If you don't watch the full thing, though, it's completely understandable. I personally don't think I could sit through a 25-minute video. And I just want to let you guys know I appreciate it, and thanks.
I just want to do like this little vlog to tell you about me and what all is in store for my channel. I am Iguana rider. I'm 17 years old, and I live in the United States. I have a 1987 GSXR 1100, and that is my bike. However, I cannot get my bike license until I'm 18. Alright, and we're on this road, and this is an old country road, so it's a pretty fun road actually. And I mean, there's nothing on it, so just give it a little taste of the sieve. You'll hear some airflow. That of course is my window. But I love this car, I love this road, and I want to explain something. First video on my moto vlogging channel is in a car, strictly, like I said, because I can't get my bike license till I'm 18. And I don't do, I don't ride illegally like that. That's just stupid. They'll impound your bike in a heartbeat. I just want to make a little intro and tell you a little bit about me, a little bit of my backstory. I have been riding almost all of my life, with an exception of a few months. Whenever I was born in May. I had my first mini bike by Christmas, and I know you're saying, well, how could he ride it? That's bullcrap, all this other stuff. But no, I literally did. I had one of those APC Pep Boys mini choppers, one of those Harley-looking bikes. You might remember them. They had the two wheels on the back, the two little skinny wheels instead of having one big fat one on the back.
This thing right here.
I have one of those, and my dad would actually ride me around like everywhere on that thing. And I don't really remember it, but I've seen it. I've seen pictures and stuff. I mean, I've literally been riding all of my life, and that's crazy to think about, but I have. Ever since then, I've had mini bikes and dirt bikes, so many of them. It's hard to count sometimes, but I'm gonna try. So after the ACP, I had a Razor mini chopper. No, I'm sorry. I had a Razor mini bike, the crotch rocket ones, right? And then I had the Razor mini chopper. And then after the mini chopper, I had a small 49cc little bike, and that's really what started it for me. Yeah, I remember the Razor Pocket Rocket and the mini chopper and stuff, but the 49cc gas two-stroke, the eBay special really did it for me, and I loved every bit of it. I just remember, my dad taking me random places, even riding around in the yard, just going up the street, letting me ride in the road, stuff like that. And it was just always so fun. Well, eventually, after I had the little 49cc gas bike, I had the Razor blue dirt bike, the first one that they had, the first little dirt bike that Razor had. And that was my last electric one. I was like, Dad, they're fun to putt around on, but I just like bigger stuff now. And he knew, he understood. So my next ride was a 110 four-wheeler. I can't remember the company. It was some Chinese company that made a red four-wheeler. And so I got that. And of course I loved it. And after that, let's see, what did I have after that? After that, my brother got a Yamaha I think a TTR 100. I don't know. I don't really know Yamaha bikes like that. I'm sorry if that is wrong and everybody's screaming and everything. But anyways, my brother got a Yamaha 100cc dirt bike. Let's leave it at that. And he didn't want it. You know, he rode it a few times and decided that it really just was not for him. And I took control of the 100. And it was a fun little bike, but it wasn't me. So shortly after that, I got a PW80 because I was short. I'm always going to be short. I'm 5'7", by the way. So I got a PW80 and I put it around on that thing for a little bit. I remember it's semi-automatic, no clutch, 3 gears, all up. Neutral was the down position, and actually fun memory about that bike. We took it to a local bike camp where you could ride your bikes and camp at the campground and all that good stuff. And I was riding back to camp actually, and I fell on my bike, and I was in shorts because I just went to the campground store or whatnot. I was just buying some toothpaste because we had forgot ours. I'm pretty sure it was toothpaste. It might have been a toothbrush, but it had something to do with morning routines. I know that. And so I went and bought some of that. And I was on my way back, and I took a nasty fall in some gravel. And I actually had Yamaha burned into my leg for a good bit, actually. And I was on crutches and stuff like that. It was pretty bad. I had burned, I don't remember exactly what I burned. I was a bit younger. You gotta excuse that, I'm sorry. But I had burned something to the point where I had to use crutches for like a half a month or something. And also at the same time as that was going on though, my PW80, my dad had a Warrior 350. And I'll never forget that. It was great. But first, let me tell you about what I learned to drive with a clutch on. It was I believe it was a no-name, just a four-wheeler that a buddy of my dad's had, and he needed some work on it. Of course, my dad, being a jack of all trades, said, yeah, I can work on the bike. The bike was over at our house. It was actually a four-wheeler, not a bike. But he said, Shane, come here for a second. And so I went over to him, and he was like, I want you to ride this through the cul-de-sac for me, test it out. And I'd never rode with a clutch. I was like, Dad, I don't know how. I said, I've never operated a clutch, and show me how. I'm sure I didn't word it that way, but that was the gist, all right? But he was like, sure. And then he taught me how to, let out slowly, giving a little bit of throttle. I had it down within 5 minutes, easy, no problem. And I was riding that thing around the neighborhood, and I told him that it rode just fine. And of course he rode it to make sure the clutch wasn't slipping, since I didn't really know what it was. But yeah, the bike ended up working just fine. And it was about that time that my brother got a mini chopper. And yeah, he wanted to get back into the whole scene, so he got a mini chopper. Excuse that, sorry. I know where all the cops are in Clover. You don't have to remind me. But no, he bought me a little he bought my brother a little mini chopper, and my brother rode it. I'm not joking. I know you can't really tell from the GoPro, but from here to the 50 speed limit sign, and I'm literally meaning about 20-30 yards. And he fell on it and got a little scrape on his knee, and he decided he was never going to ride again. And I love my brother to death. I'm not, you know, doing this to torture him or anything like that. I just think it's pretty funny. And so yeah, after that, he never really got into bikes anymore. And I was given his mini chopper. And the thing about it is, my brother's really tall. My brother's always been really tall. And this mini chopper was built for a taller kid. Well, I could barely reach the controls sitting on the tank. But I begged and pleaded my dad. I was like, I really want this mini chopper. I said, it's really cool. It's street legal. Can I have it, please? So yeah, my dad didn't sell it immediately. He let me have it. He, you know, I couldn't really reach it. It was 1 up, 4 down, neutral in the middle of 1 and 2. And that was a really, really fun bike, actually. I wish we never sold it, because if I still had it, I would get it legalized today. But no, after the mini chopper, let's go back in time for just a second, because I do want to tell you about that Warrior. That Warrior 350 that he had swapped over to throttle control, and it was a full-on race bike, like a race four-wheeler, and it was good at drifting. And I remember taking the thing to you know, that local spot I was telling you about, and they had a flat track, a dirt track, an oval, and oh dude, I would take that thing and start shredding dirt. People would get off because of how much dirt it pulled up. But that was a fun bike. Okay, so after we get rid of the mini chopper, I can't remember exactly why my dad got rid of it, but it wasn't, you know, because I couldn't reach it. Because my dad's rule with any bike that he has ever owned is, if I can touch the ground and hold it up, I can ride it. And he's always lived by that, except for the one time where he had a Busa, and of course he's got a Busa now. He's probably not going to let me ride, but as he just said, that he really doesn't trust himself on the Busa, and that's the only reason that he doesn't trust me. But yeah, my dad sold the mini chopper. I think it was having some motor problems, to be honest with you, but sold the mini chopper. And shortly after that, I got an XR80, and this XR80 was actually like a really, really fun bike for just a little bit, until I got my CR85R, which was the bike that I had until I lived in the subdivision I do now. The guy's staring at me because I'm talking on the GoPro. I've actually rode a couple of real, like, road bikes, and that was one. My dad had built a souped up S&S chopper. I'm not a big fan of American bikes, so I don't really remember all of it, but it was some wickedly fast chopper. And one of the really good memories I have of that bike is me and him fabricated the tank together. But I drove, I don't mean rode like rode on the back. I mean rode as in I drove, you know. I know you ride bikes, you don't drive them, but I was in control of the bike. And I have rode, buddy of ours, JD, I rode his bike. And then I rode a Sportster that was in our garage. But,
So one thing that I really quickly forgot to mention was I also rode my mama's V-Star, and that was a pretty fun bike as well.
You know, because crotch rockets were always a little tall. But I digress. I have had a really fun time with bikes, and I'm actually pulling up to my church now, so I will be right back. Now, I don't remember exactly where I was, but I believe I was, oh God, I stalled. Oh Jesus. But I believe I was at some point about the subdivision and living there now and stuff like that. So I believe I was talking about my CR85 when I left off, and yeah, that was great. But I'm in a subdivision now where there are no motorcycles at all permitted, but they can't tell me what I can and cannot drive on a public road. So I'm gonna have my bikes As long as they're street legal, they cannot say anything about it. We've already asked, and then all that, so I'm good. I got my bike because that was one thing that my dad was not going to let go when he chose to live here. In the HOA, it said, in the HOA agreement, it said that no motorcycles were to be permitted at any time, and yeah, we weren't gonna choose to live there because of that. But figured it all out. You just can't have like mini bikes and dirt bikes riding around. Understandable to a degree, and yeah, it was my AC. But yeah, I understood what they were coming from, but I didn't like it. And after we moved in there, you know, me being in high school, I really studied more. I focused more on my academics really than riding, and it became just a burden to keep the thing. So I got it running because it had been sitting for over 2 years. And really the subdivision we lived in before we lived in this one, I didn't really ride it much, just a few times in the backyard. A couple of Carolina Adventure World, which is the local place. I wasn't going to give away where I lived, but you know what, I live in one of the Carolinas, and I don't actually know why I was going to keep that a secret. Anyways, I live in North Carolina, but yeah, at the subdivision we lived in before we lived in this new one, it was still kind of a burden, but I didn't want to admit it. I didn't want to get rid of the bike because I love bikes so much, and I didn't want to not have a bike. But yeah, I had the CR85R. I sold it strictly because I couldn't ride it anymore, and it was just a hassle to have around. So I sold it, and I didn't have a bike for a while until I bought my '87 Jixu. And I worked at a job that I absolutely hated. I could not stand that job. And I'm going to tell you who. Cookout. But anyways, I worked at Cookout for 6 months, saved up enough money to buy the bike that I wanted, and I bought it, and it felt so good. After I bought it, I had about, I don't know, I had like $1,250 saved up. And I think I had $1,250 saved up, and so I quit. I hopped out of there, and you know, I bought a new guitar, and then I really just kind of take from there what I need when I need it, you know. But currently on a job search so I can get early release, so I can come home, work on the bike a little bit, and then get my job. But yeah, I want to know if you guys would like to have a build series on my 87, because it'd be great, and I would love to do it. An iguana rider. I don't know if I touched this up, but I have an iguana, an adult female green iguana, and she is my baby. I love her to death. Her name is Keely, and I promise that I will show you guys a picture of her, or maybe even a video of her when I get here. But and I also don't know if I've talked about my car, but see, North Carolina line right there. But I don't know if I talked about my car. This is my 2000 Honda Civic EX, slammed, maxed out coilovers, whole 9 yards, golden white color scheme, beautiful car. I love my car, and I know a lot of people are already assuming, you know, Honda guy, Gixxer guy. I mean, this guy probably wears Icon. Well, yeah, I wear Icon here as well. I'm a total memester, but I'm going to be squidding most time, because I just like the way squidding feels. I don't like to get leathered up and stuff. I've lived that life before too, because I was also a junior member of the CBA, the Concerned Bikers Association for the North Carolina division. But yeah, I've been a little bit of everywhere with bikes. I've gone from a dad that had an 8.6. He had an 88. He had an 88 with the first half of 88 that had the flat sides, and he had that bike all the way, man. He had a set of Mikuni 38s. He had Vance and Hines side-winded and megaphone, and I mean stretched, and just a beautiful, beautiful bike, man.
Yeah, but guys, my dad had built this bike when I was like really, really, really young. But it's the one bike that really stuck with me. And, you know, he had it through a bunch of phases. He got this bike when it was a frame and a wiring harness, and he built everything up from the ground up. All the chrome, everything, man. My dad is Superman, and he helps me out with my 87 build, and can't think of another format. I love him to death, and this bike is amazing.
Man, if I could have that bike, dude, I would give anything to have that exact bike just come back into my life, because it was a beautiful, beautiful bike, and that's really what inspired me to get my 87. Good golly. But yeah, his bike was what inspired me to get my bike, and you know, my dad has had countless bikes, but I can't really name all of those. I really only remember a handful of his bikes. I remember the 8.6. I was only like 5 when he got rid of it, I want to say, but I remember it like it was yesterday that he had it. I love that bike. Pingle air shifter, Pingle swing arm. He had this helmet that he still has. It was a broken chain helmet. It was a broken chain design from Grex, Grex, and I can't find that helmet anywhere. But I got an Icon Armada in the Chrome Demon or Chrome Skull, or I can't think of what it's called, but the Chrome Skull one, and it is fantastic. I love the way it fits my head. Very comfortable helmet, I will say. But yeah, I don't really have too much else to talk about. Really just kind of wanted to give you guys a little bit about me and what to expect from this channel. Dude about pulled out in front of me. I cannot believe that. My heart just stopped. I saw him start to go, and then he just kind of stopped. I had to hit redline on him. I don't like doing that, but you know what? Sometimes it's better to risk your car than to risk your life. Oh Lord Jesus, please. But yeah, I didn't want to really talk too much. Man, that really like just rattled me, so I'm gonna try to go, and I just want to.
Alright, I started rambling, so I just cut to the next clip.
Alright, so this is Kiwi. I'm not sure that you could hear that. This is Kiwi. She is my female green iguana. I'm sure my finger's covering the lens. Hang on. No, okay. And she's a sweet girl. She don't really want to be messed with right now. She's cold, but still get in there and pet her. And she's not like other iguanas, where if you pet near their mouth, they're gonna bite, anything like that. She's just sweet. She's really sweet. I love Kiwi to death. But yeah, guys, that's it. Peace.